21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Siddharth is a musician turned digital geek. As an acclaimed lifestyle entrepreneur and international speaker, he has trained over 50,000 professionals and 700 brands across 4 countries. Recognized as one of India's leading info marketing specialists, Siddharth has been featured in leading newspapers across the country and worked on projects involved with people like Robert Kiyosaki, Harv Eker, Tony Robbins, and Jack Canfield, just to name a few. After running many multi-million-dollar online campaigns for companies and helping people make money online in the last 7 years, Siddharth has now developed and perfected the Freedom business model, which is helping more than 15,000 people become digital coaches, which focuses on how to build a superior, profitable, and automated digital business without any office or employees. Wearing multiple hats, Siddharth is a husband of a loving wife, a father, minimalist, futurist, spiritualist, blogger, video marketer, as well as a podcast host. His mission is to build an army of digital leaders built on core principles of humanity and simplicity by improving one's social skills, happiness, productivity, and evasiveness. As I was just finishing cooking before recording the podcast with Siddharth, we started with relation between food and energy.
Here, I'm based in India, so it's rice. So, and we get the regular stuff here. It's coming. So our breakfast is usually we have rice-based items like there's something called dosa and idli. These are like very common here. We make it out of rice itself, and that is had with something called sambar. It's like a liquid. Sambar is actually it's a liquid form which is had in a hot way, and they mix a lot of vegetables in it. It's like a stew, something like a stew, which is had along with rice. It has everything. It's got all the proteins. It's got all the vegetables in it. So it's easy to make, and it's sumptuous. It's like wholesome on its own. We have it for breakfast. We have sambar even for lunch. Okay, so it depends on the cuisine. And if I have to show you like an Indian, South Indian thali, it's called a thali. You should just check this out. Okay, this is a full course meal which we eat on a leaf. Not every day we eat on a plate, but during festivals we eat on a leaf, which has rice. It has got some munchies and crunchies. It's got sambar. It's got sweet, and it's got a lot of other vegetables. There are other groups that also have meat on leaf, and so their delicacies are slightly different. For me, vegetarianism is it's more to do with living a more conscious life, not hurting animals. So that, and normally if you see in Indian culture, we offer foods to to the Lord, and then we have them, and we normally don't offer meat. People don't offer meat in the temples and other places. So it's sanctified food, they call it that way. It is more to do with consciousness, because food has consciousness, and right from the person who's cooking it, and what's going in the ingredients, and then you consuming it. You leave health aside, because health is always going to be there. The meat has protein, all that stuff, but there's more like spiritual consciousness where you're able to connect on a spiritual level. Connect with ourselves and connect with the higher force. From a business term, I'm able to create more awareness in people on how they need to live a more conscious life, where business is a noble activity to really make a difference in the world. It is not just about making money, but it's about holistic living.
Okay, so Siddharth, let's bring the holistic epistemology.
There are 4 pillars of dharma, according to the Indian, I would say, the Vedic lifestyle. The first pillar is the pillar of mercy. So if we abstain from eating meat, we are merciful on the animals. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar of dharma is truthfulness. And those people who, I mean, if you don't gamble, you acquire the dharmic qualities of truthfulness. People who gamble, normally they don't have that quality. Number three is cleanliness. One of the core principles of living is, which is of course there in other religions, is adultery, not being committed to one partner. It is to do with cleanliness of the mind and the body. And number four is austerity. Austerity is also a very good trait for progress in spirituality. So we don't have intoxication. We don't drink alcohol.
Okay.
Of course, the society is different, but if you go to the root of the culture, it is if you're able to abstain from meat, if you're able to abstain from intoxication, if you're able to abstain from gambling, and if you're able to abstain from illicit sex, then you'll be living a life which is grounded on humane principles, where you have the qualities of mercy, austerity, cleanliness, and truthfulness.
And how does it influence on your daily energy flow?
It impacts in a huge way. So the way that I'm able to communicate, the way that I'm able to, be grounded in whatever I do, it has a huge impact.
Can you explain, please, grounded?
Grounded is more understanding that we are not this body, we are the soul, and we have a journey. And we have previous lives, we have future lives. So what we are doing right now, and the actions that we do right now is going to create, those different levels of actions and reactions. I mean, what actions we take now is going to create reactions in the future. So if we are aware, when we are grounded, then we are able to live a more purposeful life, which is really adding value to people and helping them also increase their awareness.
So can we influence on our life?
Yes. By being grounded in these four principles, you would be able to live a sublime life where you are not really bound by karmic reactions.
Can you explain a little bit more, please, karmic reactions?
So Newton's law, what goes around comes around, right? So the same can be applied at different stages. And according to the Indian philosophy there are different levels of karma. So karma is the principle of action and reaction. So whatever action that we do, it has an equal and opposite reaction. So, and there are karmic activities which can pull you down, which is negative activities. So you hurt somebody, you kill somebody, you do something, there is a reaction that may come in this life or maybe the next life or at the various timelines that's there. And we may also be carrying karmic baggages from previous lifetimes also. So that's one side of it, the negative. There's also positive karma. That means you do good activities, you also gain positive credits that you can go and encash. That means you would have better quality life. You may have the riches and the name, the fame, the power. But even according to Indian culture, even positive karma is negative, because at some time you got to like, it's like exhausting a credit card. Yes.
Okay.
So the ideal way to live life is to be neutral, and neutral karma is living life in service to God, to the higher force. But there are different names that people give to it. And when you are living a life and running a business and making decisions where you are not looking for the fruits of those results, but you are living a life where you're serving people, you're serving a higher force, serving God, then you're out of that loop. And if you live this kind of a lifestyle, then you can get out of the cycle of birth and death.
Okay, so when you are dealing with people from Western Hemisphere, how do you develop the bridge, the communication channel regarding the differences in experiencing yourself, your life?
So what I shared with you right now is like a little bit deeper philosophy, where people will understand if they go deep into reading of the concepts, when they go deep into understanding scripture from a very objective standpoint, not from a fanatical standpoint, because religion without philosophy is fanaticism, and philosophy without religion is just a mental speculation. People also just cook up things. Yeah. So there has to be a grounding of, when I say grounding, there has to be a combination of both, where you're getting knowledge from a higher source and you're also looking at the world on how it is. So the bridge is created when you're open to looking at every society as one of the different channels or different paths going back to the same source, and each one would have their own process. They may have their own system to realize the truth. So it is appreciating all of that, and as one goes deeper into reading, they can choose whatever path that they want, ultimately what works for them.
How much people from Europe, from the States, from the Western world understand your concepts?
There are a lot of people who do. If you see, there's a place called Mayapur in India, and every year there's a big festival that happens over there, and I keep going there every year. And predominantly there are 5-10,000 people who come from European countries, from Russia, from all over the world, and from it's literally like the United Nations of the world, where I can actually see people from 20 plus countries all coming together to understand their higher purpose in life. And it's amazing. And you need to see that to experience it. And I experienced that because it's not about religion. It's about understanding things from a purpose, from the perspective of the soul in relation to the higher consciousness. So yes, the answer is there are a lot of people who are inquisitive about Vedic knowledge, because Vedic knowledge is not a religion. It used to be a lifestyle. And then, and you go back to the roots, it goes back to thousands and thousands of years. So it is more like how to live a good quality life. And of course, due to time, place, and circumstances, things have changed and things evolved in different parts of the world. So when people actually come to India to find their roots, they're able to find that connection. There's some magical feeling they have that they're able to really connect, and they get into the practice of it. So the practice is like the processes of meditation or understanding oneself and going inwards. So the answer to that, to your question is, the bridge is created by being objective. But as a practitioner, once as a person is inquisitive and starts practicing the knowledge, then they realize that there is some connection there.
Let's speak a little bit about lifestyle. Give us a hint. Uh, Give us the root to think about our way of lifestyle, and what are we supposed to do from your point of view, from your perspective.
So the lifestyle. So I started off, I grew up in a typical South Indian family, but I was also exposed to, the Christian values. I was brought up in a convent school. I used to sing in the school choir for many years. Uh, Read the Bible, read other scripture, lived in Dubai for a few years. So I also understand Islamic values. And I got into this whole quest of, understanding the connection between, uh, living a life of purpose and connecting it back to service to God in various different forms. So the lifestyle that I used to live was, family being on the front. It was a joint family. We used to live together. I used to live with my grandpa, with my uncles, aunts. We all lived under one roof. The ladies of the house were very, very good at cooking. They would make a lot of, even now, it's a very, very important, integral part of the culture, of the lifestyle, is to cook really good food and have different varieties of it. And it's like a festival. Every day is a festival. And there are so many festivals in India, which, every day is a celebration of something. It could be,
Really
yeah. So
amazing.
in a month, there would be at least 5 to 6 days of celebration. It could be a festival. It could be a great saint's birthday. It could be something, it would be coming. And there would also be fasting days. So a part of the culture is also in the cycle of the moon, 2 days in a month, we would completely fast. So that's a part of the culture also. So I was brought up in that culture, and later on, of course, like any modern city, got into the work life, like just like anyone else. Like I've been brought up in a metropolitan, cosmopolitan city, and high-rise buildings, traffic jams, that is there. But if you go to each home, you would find a place of sanctity also at home. Each home would be like a small temple, and people would have their own way to connect in wherever you go. So if you look at the lifestyle element right now, what I have adopted for myself is more to do with minimalism. I've also adopted concepts of minimalism, again, from the learnings that I've had, is having less. I don't need too many things to be happy. I don't want to connect things to happiness, but I want to connect experiences to happiness. And experiences could mean, quality time with family, connecting with God, taking the family out. There are so many, everything which is all family centric, family oriented. And having said that, I also read this book on called Thou Shall Prosper by Rabbi Daniel Lapin, where he talks about it comes even from the Jewish influence. So I was studying that, and it really made a lot of sense. It was actually connecting back to even the culture over here, where business is a noble activity. It's an activity of really, if done in the right way with the right spirit, is you are doing this in service to God, and you're actually helping people grow in whatever service that you're providing them. So right now, my lifestyle is more in a point where I work 100% from home. I'm spending a lot of time with family. I'm teaching more than 30,000 people right now to become digital leaders, because especially in the world that we're in right now, everybody's online, everyone is doing this. And I found this calling in 2018, because for a good 6-7 years, I was running a typical agency, digital marketing agency, doing work for others, running campaigns. In fact, I worked with Robert Kiyosaki, run campaigns for Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, you name, shared the stage with Brian Tracy, Dr. John D. Martini, shared the stage with him. So after doing a lot of agency work, decided to get into this path of teaching people online to become digital teachers or digital coaches, how they can take their knowledge and how they can package that into products, how they can package that into coaching, so that they can help others with the knowledge that they have. So though in India, you would find people in all walks of life choosing different kinds of lifestyle. Some are completely materialistic lifestyle. Some of them are on the other extreme of super spiritualism, where they completely renounce. Personally, I decided to adopt the path of Arjuna, where Arjuna, he fought the battle. He did not quit, but he did it with a different intention. Mm-hmm. And if you know the Mahabharata, Duryodhana was on the other side, and he wanted to get all the kingdoms for himself, which was self-centered. Whereas Arjuna, he fought the battle for Krishna. He fought for his best friend, the Supreme Lord. According to the Vedas, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. So when Arjuna fought with love, when he did every activity, he fought like any other warrior, where his intention was different, then the entire game changes, because he's not doing it from a self-centered approach. He's doing it from a service-oriented approach. It's a devotional service. He's doing it out of devotion. So that is an ideology that I've incorporated into my lifestyle, thanks to my spiritual masters and my mentors, who have given me this lens to look at living life and business. So for me, yes, I love to make a lot of money. I help a lot of people, and whatever I'm making, I give 10% of whatever I make towards charities and causes that I believe in. And we are living in this world where money is an important integral part of business. So running the family, having having whatever comforts that we need to sustain in this world and to grow in this world and to create that kind of a lifestyle. And if you look at it, even though there's a lot of abundance, we don't splurge on say partying and that those kind of activities. We don't indulge in those four elements, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and other activities. So everything is centered towards contribution and channelizing all our energies to make people progress. So that's the journey I'm in right now, where I really want to create the next breed of digital teachers and leaders who can truly add value to people's lives.
Before going to digital leaders, how would you define love?
So love is the purest form of love in today's world is a mother's love for her child. There's no sense of entitlement, or it's not a business, and love is the purest from a mother's love for her child. It's as close as it can get in this world. So love is that feeling where there is no exchange. It's not a business. Yeah. And true love is when you're able to connect to the root of the tree, because most of the relationships that we have in this world are material relationships. They're temporary relationships, and it is just a perverted reflection of the true love which is there. Just like how if you're seeing a reflection of a tree on the water, the reflection of the tree on the water is proof that the tree really exists, but that is not the real thing. So love in this world that we have in this world, the relationships, is compared to that reflection. And the true love is when we connect ourselves back to the super soul, to the supreme power. And it's like pouring water on the root of the tree. So if you're able to connect our love to the supreme being, everything else gets fulfilled. So that's how I would look at love. And of course, when in the scripture there are different stages of love. You could have love in the form of a servant, like a master and a servant. So like a servant has reverence and love for the master, to serve the master. That's the first category of love. Mm-hmm. Then you would have the next is a friendly love. Like we are very good friends and we have a different form of a love where I can, hold your hand, I can push you around, and it's a different kind of love. Then you have parental love. That's different, like motherly and fatherly love, like how you would give that love to your child. It's a different kind of love. And of course, conjugal love, like deep, intimate, relationship, like how a husband and wife would have. That is just a powerful reflection, but in the spiritual sky, that is the highest form of love, which is pure. There's no lust in there. It is pure. And that's what, when you study deeper, Radha and Krishna is that form. It's a divine masculine and divine feminine coming together.
And where is the business love?
The business love all happens here in this world. Because here it's all external. It's outside in. It's how beautiful you are, or how it's outside in. It's not inside out.
And are you using the love concept in your business activities?
Absolutely. So when you start to look at every person that you're serving as a part and parcel of the Lord, or coming from a perspective, looking at everyone as an individual soul, how you can serve them, then it becomes an act of love, an act of service. Mm-hmm. So where you're not just disregarding people, you're not judging people, you're just looking at each one is unique in their own path, and how you can raise their awareness, how you can lift them up to where they want to go, or if they're above you, how you can learn from them and how you can raise yourself up. That's how I look at this. In fact, there's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says, it says, a true seer of the truth is able to look at a dog eater, an enlightened person, and even the trees with equal vision, because he's able to see the spark in each one of them. And that's true love, where they're able to really look at that. Of course, that's a very high level of thinking, but that's what the Gita describes as.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's go to another topic. What's your daily routine?
So my daily routine is I wake up at 5 a.m. I do a mantra meditation. I do it for 90 minutes, and spend time with the kids, get them ready, get them to school. I have two boys. My first one is 7 years old. The second one is 2 years old. I hit my desk at around 9 a.m. I spend the first part of my day doing a lot of learning. So I tune into podcasts. I tune into various videos and mentors that I resonate with, and I take a lot of notes. I do like at least an hour or 2 hours a day of learning. I keep some of my meetings in midday, and I also do webinars, like at least twice or thrice in a week. That happens morning at 11 a.m., 11 to 12, 12 to 1. And usually the second half of the day is free. Like after 1 p.m., I don't do any work. I just try to keep it as open as possible. Spend more time with family, with kids, with my wife. And what is family time like? Yeah, we watch movies together. We have lunch together. And now in lockdown, we don't go out much. So we are just at home. We're discussing different things, doing activities together. And the second half of the day, I do coaching calls for people in the evening. I do group coaching with my students online. Like even today, I just finished a coaching call. We had around 700 people who are live online, and I answer questions. I give them clarity, and everything happens through webinars. So this is how I've structured my life in for the last I would say 18 months, where I only work 4 days in a week. Like I work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I keep it completely open. I don't have any meetings, nothing that happens on Wednesdays. I like to keep one day just for thinking. Like I like to think about new ideas. I just keep that entire day blocked off. Thursday and Friday, I can catch up and do work. Saturday is family day and Sunday is spiritual day. Like this is before the lockdown. Saturday, I would take the family out, go out somewhere, drive out of town. Sunday, we would go to the temple together, which is nearby. And we would, pray together and just spend 3 to 4 hours in the temple and come back. Just like how Sunday is church day for many Christians, the same way we incorporate it that way. So 4 days of work, 1 day thinking, 1 day family, 1 day spiritual, and each day where I keep start the day with meditation, learning, and then everything else follows. Yeah.
So 90 minutes of meditation?
Yes. So the process that I do is I chant the names of God in the form of using beads, like how you have the rosary beads. And the beads, they have 108 beads. So to complete one round of 108 times, I chant 16 syllables. It takes me 7 minutes. And I do 16 rounds of that. And this particular process is to hear the sound vibration, because there are different processes of meditation, and I'm sure you've also studied many of them. This particular process is where you hear the sound vibration, and by you hearing that sound vibration, it actually purifies your heart.
How could you describe the level of vibration? Is it the vibration on the level of your body, of your emotions, your thoughts?
So these 16 words or the syllables that I chant, it is actually given in the scripture. It goes back to the creator Brahma, where he had mentioned that these 16 syllables has the potency to cleanse the heart. And there are different processes for different ages, where when you go deep into this, the first age, according to the to the scripture, according to the Vedic timeline, is where people used to live for 100,000 years in a yuga called the Satya Yuga. And in that age, meditation was the process. That means they would sit for years in the forest and meditate. They would sit literally for years. And there's a lot of, if you dig into the scripture, there are many examples of that. And I've gone to some of those places. There's a forest called Naimisharanya forest, where these sages would actually go and meditate there. That was a process for that age. In the next era, where the people lifespan was 1,000 years, the process for that age was doing sacrifices, like fire sacrifices, and what they call as yajnas, which was a process for that age. And then the next era was the temple worship became big, where again there was many of these old temples that you would see in India were constructed that in the 3000 to 5000 time frame. The big one, the old temples where the ruins are still there. So the process for that age was temple worship, where they would have the deity and people would go, and the temple was the center of the community, and everyone would go to that temple. It was that format. And in this age, which is what they call as Kali Yuga, the lifespan of people is just 100 years. And even that is, if people are lucky, they go to 100 years. So the best process for this age, which has been recommended in the scripture, is the chanting of mantra, because you can instantly connect. So what is the vibration that we feel is, it can vary from person to person, but it is more of, you would start to feel a true connection to yourself and to God, and you would see a lot of traits that you had which were keeping you stuck. You would start to automatically give that up. And I'll tell you how in one way. Like, many of us are conditioned by different ways of thinking. We're conditioned by different habits, that negative habits that bind us. And I've noticed whenever I incorporated this into my life from when I was young, a lot of the negative feelings to others, negative thoughts, even though it would keep coming right now, because the mind is like a monkey mind. You cannot control it. But just by chanting this, it does two things. One is it helps control the mind, and it helps purify the heart. If done in the right attitude. Yes. Sometimes it can also get mechanical, because it's just the same sound vibration again and again. It becomes into autopilot mode. And that's where you're not really getting the juice out of that meditation. So you got to bring the mind back and focus back. And that's the practice.
Can you please define the difference between being into awareness and being into the autopilot state?
Very nice question. So autopilot state is like when you're driving a car. Initially, when you're learning how to drive a car, you're really conscious about pressing that clutch and shifting the gear and moving forward. But once you get the hang of it, it's an autopilot. That means you're unconsciously shifting the gears. So there is no consciousness about what's happening when you drive. So that's the analogy I can give. So when it comes to mantra meditation, initially you'll be very conscious. You actually get the juice, but over time you'll start to see that it becomes, okay, it's just running in the background. When I say autopilot, you're saying it from your mouth, but your mind is somewhere else. You're thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. You're thinking about what things to buy in the store and all that. Your mind is wavering. But at that moment, when you're able to bring it back, okay, let's focus on the sound. Let's focus on the name. That's the practice that is adopted. Yeah.
How would you implement the state of awareness into a daily business routine?
Yes. So when it comes to the meditation part of it, it's about controlling the mind in this format. When it comes to business, it is about looking at it in three levels. And this is something that was shared with me by one of my mentors, Blair Singer, if you've heard of him. He is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad advisor. So he talks about, when you're running a business, you need to be aware of three things: mission first, customer second, community second, and me third. If you are able to prioritize your decisions on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis in your business on these three things, is this going to be helping take the mission forward? Good to go. Or is this is only for my self-centered decision? That's where things could go wrong. So mission first, customer second, me third. And that's the awareness that I always think about while running my business.
Okay, now let's go to your business. Tell us more about your business.
So currently, I'm in the business of helping people take their knowledge and make that into a lucrative, uh, business model for themselves. And I've framed something called the freedom business model: how to build a business without any office or employees, right? Using your knowledge. So the first part of what I help people in my business is I help them get clarity on their niche. There are only 5 niches where people are ready to spend their money when it comes to buying products or getting coached online. The first niche is business growth. So if you're going to help businesses grow with whatever skills and knowledge that you have, they'll be ready to pay you money for that. Okay. The second niche is career growth. There are many people who want to move up in their careers and they want to get better jobs, better, uh, recognition in their workplace. And there are a lot of sub niches under that. So that's the second niche. The third niche is health and wellness. And that's a big one. You can go deep into it, like weight loss, you can go into natural healing, crystal healing, nutrition. All of this would come under health and wellness. Number 4 is relationships, parenting, couples coming together. That is also a niche. And number 5 is make money. Okay, how you can make more money through stock markets, how you can make more money through coaching, how you can make more money through multiple ways, affiliate marketing. So what I do is I help people discover and narrow down on their niche, which is step 1. This is my business. Yeah. And then I help them develop a unique formula on how they can package that into a product that they can sell for anywhere from like $100 going up to even $5,000, and make it into an ascension model, make it into a 3-level offering. So for example, if you are a nutrition expert, I will show you how to design a beautiful basic level product, which you can sell for $100, how you can create a little bit more advanced level product for $500 or $1,000, and how you can actually include high ticket coaching at a $2,000 level, and how you can, once you design all of this, then how do you market that and how do you sell that to make it into a sustainable business model without any office or employees. So that is my business. So I help people take their knowledge and package that into a super profitable knowledge business.
How long did you invest into your learning curve, and are you still into the learning curve? Are you into the lifelong learning path?
Absolutely. I mean, the learning never stops and it keeps evolving. But when did I get started was in 2011, I got into the digital marketing industry. I, uh, I I set up my own small little agency along with my business partner, and we started to do services. We started to build websites. We started to do digital marketing, Facebook ads, and that ran for a good 6-7 years. Even now, it is running. But in 2018, where the pivot happened, where I decided, okay, I started my own business so that I can be my own boss. But the truth about the agency business is you'll end up having multiple bosses. I had 35 bosses to report to because all of them are my clients and I need to address them, even though I had a team. And that's when I was thinking, let me move away from the services business and let me start building products, because products, it's lesser hassle. And if it's a digital product, there's no manufacturing, there's no shipping, there's no handling, no logistics. I can just sell online and people get it instantly. They can be in any part of the world. And I don't need to do anything else after that. It's up to them to consume that knowledge. And I found that very attractive in 2018. And that's how I got started in this journey. But then as I started to sell products, I realized that people, just by buying products, they are not going to get the results. I need to support them after that. I need to give them more hand holding and help them get the results. So the entire framework shifted from a product-based business model into a community-based business model, where I started to do coaching calls. I started to do hackathons, where like every month I would work with batches of people and I would guide them step by step on how to design their systems. And now it's become into it's become into a mini kind of movement now. We have thousands of people all over India. Each one are creating their products. I have more than 100 success stories of people who have achieved over $5,000 packaging their knowledge and selling it through webinars. So I've created it into a formula. The formula is identify a niche, create a very high value offering, keep a community-based approach, support people after they've bought your products. And the more important thing is learn how to sell using webinars and how to drive traffic into your webinars. So my whole methodology is products are all ready and set. Right now, I'm running a lot of ads to fill my webinars. I add a lot of value, 60 minutes. I really educate my audience. And then I offer my product in the webinars. And that's how I'm able to maximize my business. So I actually work like 2 days in a week and able to create, and the system that I've built on the back end is creating that leverage for myself.
Regarding people that are in startup phase, if you can explain to us what is your organizational structure now and how did you begin?
Excellent question. It's a very good question. For a business model like this, when you're starting off, you will not need any employees. You'll not need any infrastructure in terms of real estate. The only infrastructure that is required is the online tools. You need a website, you need a landing page, you'll need your funnel tools, you need your webinar tools. Like there are a few important tools that are important, for starting off on the business. So going from 0 to say 500 customers, no problem. You can handle it. Once it crosses 500, you'll start to see a lot more customer service inquiries that keep coming in the mailbox. That means a lot of people will have questions. Okay, I'm not able to access the course. Some people may ask for refunds. And there's a whole lot of management that needs to happen over there. And at that point, I was actually answering around 200 emails in a day, 300 emails in a day, managing it all myself. Then I realized the importance of having a community manager. So the first person that I brought on.
Excuse me, was it VA or full-time?
Full-time community manager.
Full-time,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I found this community manager from my own community. Like somebody who's been through my process, somebody who's understood. And then he worked for me for free for 3 months. I was just testing him out. And I could see the commitment that he was looking at this as a long-term thing. Then I put them on a full-time. So community manager came in. So this role, now he's been handling all of that stuff. Like it has freed a lot of my time. And the other piece which I've included into my system is a content specialist. Now, I have been doing my podcasts on my own. I've been recording my videos, editing on my own. But now I have found somebody who can even remove that pain away, where I can only focus on recording the video, shooting getting the podcast done, putting it up on Drive, and they will do the entire publishing part of it. I mean, that person will do the entire publishing part of it. So the structure is actually community manager, content manager, and finance. I have an outsourced finance person who can send all the invoices and the reports, because that's an important part of the puzzle as well. And I guess, and there's one more piece, which is my ads manager. I used to run all the Facebook advertising myself. That means I used to write the ads, I would put the budgets in, and I did that for a good, in fact, only till last month, for a good 16 to 17 months, I ran all my campaigns on my own. And now I've outsourced it to a very good agency that can handle that as well. So my only focus now is on developing new content, on adding more value to the community, and developing new products.
And your SEO is based on content, or?
It's all content based. So my major traffic source is Facebook ads. So I'm running a lot of Facebook ads. I'm targeting the right people to get people to my webinars. And besides that, I have a YouTube channel with over, I think, around 30,000 subscribers.
Beautiful.
I've got an email list of 150,000 subscribers.
Beautiful.
At this point. And what else? I think these are my main. And I have a Facebook group with over 40,000 people in my group, which is pretty big.
Can you share with us some of apps you are using?
I've tested over 300 plus tools because I'm a tool junkie, and I like to go and test things out. And I brought it down to like 5 or 6 that I'm using right now. So for my email, I use ConvertKit, which is really cool. Aweber is also superb. There's no doubts. 2, I use ClickFunnels for my landing pages for me to collect all the leads. 3, I use teachable.com for me to host all my courses on there. 4, I use Click Magic for my click tracking. I want to track and see. I want to track exactly from where my clicks are coming from, different traffic sources. Then I use Webinar Jam for my webinars, for my sales webinars. I use Zoom for my community calls. What else do I have?
Do you have anything for your tribe?
Yes, for my tribe, I'm using a tool called Mighty Networks. I've built my own social network. So it is only for the paid members. I also have a Facebook group for the public, but for my paid members, I have my own dedicated social network. Yeah. So these are the tools, 7 tools which are essential, which works for me.
And how can one become a digital coach in the next 90 days?
If they have to become a digital coach, they need to go through a step-by-step approach to learning how to design that. And for that, I've actually created a resource for your audience. It is a $97 resource called Freedom Business Blueprint. I'm going to give you the blueprint, and I'm willing to give it for free. So I'll actually give you the link in the description, and they can go and check it out, because in this resource, they are going to be learning how digital coaching works. What are the 7 different types of business models? I'm going to share also what are the evolution of an expert in the digital age. I will talk about the 3 pillars of influence, how you can influence people online to attract people to you rather than you chasing people, how to build multiple revenue floors, and how to build digital tribes. So that the entire process, the entire blueprint, I've created this into a mini course, which anyone can go through in a 90-minute sitting. Within 90 minutes, they'll be able to get the entire concept. So it's a $97 course, but I'm willing to give it for free for your audience.
That sounds really amazing, Siddharth. Thank you so much. And you mentioned webinars. Can you share a little bit more about it as well?
Yes, I do webinars every single week. So if anyone goes to sidzco/freedom, then they can register for my next upcoming live webinar, where I'll actually walk through the entire process on how I was able to take my business from the scratch to over $1 million in sales in 20 months.
Siddharth, thank you so much for sharing with us your way of thinking and of living and making business. Do you want to share anything else at the end of our episode?
Absolutely. There's a beautiful quote that I love, which I always like to share at the end of the different events that I used to speak in, which is, when your thoughts, when your words, and when your actions align, you become a magnet to miracles.
Thanks again, and Siddharth, keep in touch.
Thank you. Great to be here.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.